Okay, so we are live. Hello and welcome. My name is Mark Monlux. I'm going to be your host for Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is an online drawing group. We've been meeting for about 7 years, way before pandemic and online meetings became fashionable. We were the hip crowd. Anyway, I live in Tacoma, Washington. I'm a freelance illustrator. And today I'm going to be working on a couple of things. I'm going to work on a horror movie, obscure movie monster for a deck of playing cards, and I might be working on my other computer as well, trying to find the next piece of line artwork to color. In order of appearance, I'm going to have Bill introduce himself and where he's coming from in his project, then Han, and then Katie. Bill, you're up.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator working in Seattle, Washington. I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, and today I'll be working on some of that as well as touching up my latest batch of pieces from an ongoing illustration project that I've been doing, which is slowly but surely getting through George R.R. Martin's A Storm of Swords. I just finished The Red Wedding.
Oh, terrific. And do you have something? Oh, after the introduction, I'll see if you can throw up something on the screen. Han, you're up next.
Oh, I'm Han Tran, and I'm a grand amateur. I am in this group because I find it's relaxing, so I just draw whatever comes.
Katie, you're next.
Hi, this is Katie C. You can find me on Instagram at Evil Girlfriend Media. I'm a writer and artist. I'm finishing up a tarot card right now, and then I'm going to start sketching out a new piece.
So I'm going to show my mental shortcut for how I draw birds. It's nothing that the Everly Brothers do. This is totally my own stupid technique because I mainly draw cartoon birds. Let me do my screen real fast here. I'm going to make it so that everyone can share their screens. And so the way I draw birds is I always imagine half a circle and then I draw a circle, and this is usually enough for me to use as my template for drawing the rest of the bird. There's his back, and then right about here I'll introduce his wing. And then I usually put the eye either right here or a little farther forward if I was doing a silhouette, but I kind of like the placement of that. So I'm gonna, sometimes I put his beak over here, but I like the placement of those eyes. So I'm gonna make his beak right there. I'm going to give him a little bit of headrest. Then I'll have his tail sticking up. And as far as legs go, I just pretty much do some poles. And every bird I draw is pretty much a variation of this. Like if I was to draw this fellow again,
And
I
here's
would.
my copycat from your teaching.
Oh, you are.
See that one?
Oh, that's wonderful. And
Instant teaching and instant learning, right?
right. So let's see. I'm going to go to this pen. I like that little crest. I like the little eyes. And I'm going to make this time I'm going to go off the shoulder a different way, a little bit more lumpy to the right. And I'm going to do this. But you can see from what I drew before, I'm basically following the same recipe I had. I'm going to get rid of the backgrounds. And I'm going to select and move this guy up a little bit and resize him. And now I'm going to duplicate him because I'm going to go with 2 treatments of feet. I'm going to draw one with really fat feet. And I'm going to do this one with really long feet.
That is really long feet.
So that looks a little strange. Anyway, so that's my shortcut for how to draw birds. Whoops. Ah. And it all comes back to just drawing. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the tip.
You're welcome. And just start with a circle. Divide it in half. Add another circle. And then connect from there. That's my flamingo. Just put the, oh, I'll stop now. I'm getting crazy. Oh, before I stop sharing, I'll show you the monster I'm working on. This is from a horror movie called The God Monster of Indian Flats.
Or
And it's-
Indian plants, yeah.
Indian Flats. It's basically a giant sheep monster. So I don't know. It looks like a mutant camel to me, but that's and what I'm doing is on this layer, all this is white, but I'm going to go in and you can see I'm making that, I'm going to fade, change the opacity. But first I'm just going to draw it white and then I'll come back and decide to knock it down just a little bit. About 50%. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on today. I'll stop sharing.
So it's like, it's just a story that goes.
Well, I've done, this is a deck of playing cards I made in the
Oh.
past
Yeah,
and featuring obscure movie monsters. And I sold so many of these that I ran out. And so I'm going to make another deck.
that's great. Are they the same or they seem to sell more in certain months of the year, like Halloween or such?
Oh, yeah, I do tend to sell more of them between August and the beginning of October.
Yeah,
Not so much during October. And then I sell a bunch more in November as people are looking for Christmas gifts.
yeah. So you
But-
should have Bad Santa playing cards.
And I sell a lot in May and June because that's when I do my comic book shows and when people see them the most.
Oh, yeah.
Because I sell most of my decks when I'm at doing the conventions. My next convention is going to be a horror themed convention. And it's called Crypticon. And it's held at the SeaTac, near the SeaTac airport, which is the airport you use to go to Seattle, Washington. It's the primary airport. Katie, will you and Tim be tabling at Crypticon this year? Your microphone is off, Katie. Maybe Katie's out of the room.
No, I'm here. I'm using a different headset, and for some reason it delays my ability to use the Zoom app. That probably makes no sense. I'm just sitting here trying to get some inspiration for a picture. So sorry, that's why it doesn't even look like I was in the room. It's because I was leaned over looking at some stuff that potentially to draw. But yeah, we're thinking of attending one day, but we'll be getting prepared for Texas Frightmare because it'll be the next weekend.
Oh.
So yeah, so everything's going to be about getting things ready for Texas. So we're probably won't be there all weekend, but we're hoping to come by and say hi to folks. I think it falls on our wedding anniversary again.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's see. No, it doesn't fall on our wedding anniversary, so that's good. But yeah, so the 22nd through the 24th, so like that Saturday through Wednesday, I'll just be packing, making sure I got all my last minute prints, all that stuff. So that's what we'll be spending a lot of time on.
So do you have I'm assuming you have a dog sitter that you use on a regular basis.
Yeah, his name is Nicholas. It's my stepson.
Oh,
Yeah, no, Nick usually takes care of everybody while we're out, and my stepdaughter Victoria, she's here too. So we have people, there's always somebody at home, which is really nice.
Where is in Texas?
It's outside of Dallas or inside of Dallas, Texas. It's Grapevine, so it's like Dallas is so big. It's like some of the areas, it's like a city within a city.
Yes.
Is that where they've been holding Texas Frightmare before? Or
No, they moved it. It used to be at the airport, and now it's going to be in Grapevine proper at the actual convention center.
Yeah, I think I
wow, so
was there a couple of years ago.
that's a big change. Is that just to enlarge the venue for everybody, or?
Yeah, there's going to be a massive amount of vendors, and I think they're actually doubling the attendance. And so that's one of my big issues that I think we're going to come into if they double the attendance is, will we even have enough inventory? Can we bring enough inventory? Because, we took 4 suitcases last year full of art and books. And we still had, I would say, 2/3 of one suitcase full coming home. But we when you take 4 full suitcases, 50 pounds a piece, and you come home and you have a suitcase that weighs like 30 pounds, that's a good deal of unloading inventory, right? So yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time doing big pieces this year. It's just been one thing after another. But I actually wrote down on my list of things to do this weekend is do an inventory of what originals I currently have. Do I want to take those originals? What am I going to produce? Be able to, like, all my minis, I'm going to be scanning those and doing a little bit of remastering and Procreate. And and then I have my other prints, because I think I'm up to 9 or 10 tarot cards that are part of my series. And so just seeing how many I have, because I usually sell out of the tarot cards there. But people also love originals because my originals are so economical. I told Tim I'm not going to be surprised if on Friday we don't have people just like literally come to get what they want, because we had so many people the last year who had bought originals from me before when my work wasn't even, I was just more developing, that immediately came this last year to buy something on Friday because they're like, no, I want what I want, and I went first choice. So we'll see how it goes this year on Friday. And I cannot believe I was able to do this, but I was able to finish a 70,000 word short story collection. So I'm going to have my old books plus a brand new book, first brand new book in years. I had all these people who've read my work that come every year and ask me when something new is going to come out. So I'm really excited to have a new product, a writing product there too. So we'll see. You might think you're going to do amazing at a con. You get really prepared for it, and and you just come home with everything, right? You never know. And then we're doing did I tell you? I think I told you we were doing a convention in Kentucky.
Oh, I don't know if you told me about the convention in Kentucky.
Yeah, so we decided to do a convention in Kentucky called Scarefest, because I'm from Kentucky, and we're gonna try to go there, have everything ready, and go there the weekend before the convention and spend a couple days visiting my family, and then still be able to go to the the convention, so we can use it as a tax write-off.
There you go.
So, yeah, didn't you just do a convention this last weekend, or?
Oh, I did a toy show the weekend before last,
Okay,
and hardly a proper venue. The only reason I do that toy show is because it's in Puyallup. I could hold my breath and drive there practically. So
okay.
and the table's really cheap because the same person who does SummerCon does the toy show. If you sign up for SummerCon, he gives you a toy show slot at half price.
I wonder if one, I didn't get an email, maybe I needed to contact him. We did Washington SummerCon last year, loved it. And then
The toy, he does, this is really for the toy people.
okay.
It's not, of the people there, I think there might have been one other author.
Okay.
There was maybe, I know that there were two other artists, but one was Mark Brill doing caricatures.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I do it because I have some game related stuff that I've created.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the horror movie bingo set.
Yes.
And the enamel pins were kind of toyish, so I wasn't too worried. I did fine. I netted. And well, hang on, I got a text coming in. That my sibling has my parents with him in Hawaii.
Oh,
And he's
nice.
putting them on a plane tomorrow, and it's my job. Yeah, I have to pick them up tomorrow. They're my father just turned 92, 93, 92. I think he just turned 92.
Oh wow.
And so my mother's in her 80s. And so I got to pick them up at the airport, and then from there, drive them home. And that's going to be at least 2 hours in the car. So I know that there's going to have to be a pit stop someplace. I'll probably do a pit stop at my house so that they can, not have to worry about falling down in a public bathroom at a DQ or someplace. And since it's late at night, it's going to be at 8 o'clock, and maybe by, maybe 8:30 or 9 before I actually get them in the car. I need to have something for them to eat, because they're going to be coming off of a flight. Who knows what type of what they had on the flight, if they had anything on the flight. They don't strike me as the type of people who pack anything. I'll have to ask my brother if he's going to pack them a lunch for the flight. And maybe I'll have to give them some sandwiches for the car, or pick up some sushi. That's something you can eat with your hands.
Mhm.
I have done that many times in the car.
Eating sushi in the car.
The only thing is, you can't really
Yeah, you
use
can't really,
wasabi or anything like that.
yeah, you can't really dip it. Yeah.
But other than that, it's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you were talking about Washington's.
Katie,
go-
that looks like a small-eared lemur, a very angry small-eared lemur. Is that a dog?
It's actually going to be a bear. It's actually going to be Cocaine Bear.
Oh, Cocaine Bear. Okay,
I
I see Cocaine Bear now.
Yeah, so he's gonna have like this hot pink, like 80s looking background, and then he's gonna be wearing aviator sunglasses, and he's gonna kind of like a weird smile on his face and a little bit of a powdered nose.
Yeah,
But
I
you
can
get it?
see it now because of the square snout. I think you really have. I watched Cocaine Bear with my wife. My wife did not get it. She started playing a computer game. I thought the movie was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was super funny. I was actually I had no clue Elizabeth Banks had that kind of gallows humor in her. And I told Tim, I said, if someone were to ever say, yeah, we'd like to do a movie deal, or Elizabeth Banks would love to make something with you, I would be like, show me where I need to sign. Because I would work with that lady with her vision of horror and comedy in a New York minute. Holy moly. I did not know she had that kind of vision in her. And I totally admired it.
Yeah.
Bill, you can watch Cocaine Bear on Peacock.
Yeah, I heard that. And speaking of Peacock, with a friend, I watched that Puss in Boots movie with it, and the bears were the best part of it.
Yeah, I actually, the thing is, the only person you feel bad for in this whole movie is a bear. And
Yes.
Everybody else, you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. You're like, this poor bear is just a victim of she's a victim of her circumstances, which is what makes it also funny. I mean, it's not a movie you're watching because, you want some amazing subplot. I mean, you're watching about a movie.
You're watching a movie about a bear getting high on cocaine. Yes, basically.
But the sad part, the true story is actually very sad.
I know the true story because I did a comic strip on it.
That's
the bear ate the cocaine and died.
So, that's all that happened in the real story. It's like based off a true story. And I'm like, loosely based off a true story. That's it. Like, this is based loosely off a true story. That's it, man. But yeah, so Tim had begged me. He's like, please do something with Cocaine Bear. And I was like looking over here and I was like, I've got a couple other things I want to do. But I was like, I've got this is like a 7x7 frames that are white. And I think a chocolate bear with a pink background with a white frame is actually going to look kind of striking, but that's me.
I think if you go with that kind of Nagel artist approach, it is going to look very striking. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I am not 100% sure, no.
So Nagel was this artist who did a lot of 80s artwork, very designery, fields of color, very simplified. He totally had the palette of the 80s down, and they were usually of women wearing highly stylized clothing with pointy.
Yep, I know who exactly. Pointy earrings.
Pointy earrings and pointy shoulder pads and.
Yes. Okay, I know exactly who that is. Yes, I know exactly who that is. I'm just glad I finally found a purpose and a way to use these very expensive Posca markers. I had the worst. I got these markers and they do apps. They're horrible on canvas, but on a piece of black poster board, they're amazing. You can do so much with them.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's what I'm working on with this. But yeah, I hope we get into Washington SummerCon. We've gotten that thing where it says we've accepted your, we have your application, but there are a lot of people in Artist Alley that it says we've accepted your application and that's it. So we'll see how it goes. We had a really good time there last year. And I knew we weren't going to probably do really well there, but we didn't do horrible. We actually did way better than we expected. And this year, the celebrity list is just huge. I'm really surprised at this celebrities list. I was like, wow, they must have did really well last year if they can get this level of celebrity here.
I'm always amazed at every year of the level of celebrities that they're able to bring in. So the way it works is celebrities have a guarantee on their signatories.
Right.
And if they don't get that much, first of all, they have their airfare and their room, everything's paid for them as far as travel. They don't pay anything out of that. Then they're guaranteed so many signatures. And if those signatures don't get fulfilled, then the show makes up the difference.
Right.
But he says he's never had an issue with, he's always had no problem covering that. And because he's always had a good crowd and a good turnout. That man knows how to put on a show.
I don't think I met him, but yeah, Tim was really impressed with the show. And the closer I get to retirement, the more shows we're going to be doing, because I'll have more free time.
Well, he does SummerCon, and I know that he does 2 of the toy shows, and I don't know how many other shows he does, but he took a bit of a hard hit during the pandemic because he couldn't do any shows. I mean, he was basically, I know he bought one of the food trucks from the fairgrounds and was having people going out and selling snow cones.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know Russ Richards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Russ Richards was selling snow cones out of that snow truck. And that's what they were doing because, things were tight during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because Russ did a bunch of the graphics for, he was doing almost, I think, nearly all the graphics for SummerCon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And suddenly, so Steve says, hey, if I bought this truck, would you work in it? And Russ was kind of going, oh yeah, no problem. Poor Russ, though, he's got a herniated disc.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and he's being lined up for an operation, and that's kind of, he's got all those heavy bins because he does the show, his stuff, bins and bins of setup. And I kept telling him, you should treat yourself bigger. He says, no, I can handle this. I said, that being macho is going to get to you. And I hate to say I told you so, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll frequently say I can tough plenty of stuff out, but if you don't have to, why?
Yeah. Very true.
Well, I was just like him when I was young. I thought I could, don't worry, my body's good. And then I hit my 40s.
I tell you, there's something about hitting that special zero. It's like, it doesn't even matter if you have a good mentality about aging or whatever. It's just like some kind of weird expiration clock goes off. I don't know why.
Well,
Um,
as someone who celebrated their 60th birthday last year, and I'm kind of going, oh man, I shouldn't really complain about my age because I have friends who are in their 70s now, and I'm kind of going, oh, okay. And they're really telling me to say, woof, you're such a young, healthy kid in your 60s.
yeah, it's kind of wild. Like, yeah, you get perception. We were talking about, somebody made a comment about the show. Oh, 6 Feet Under. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
got,
I
you guys ever
love
watched.
6 Feet Under. That was a great show.
So we were actually thinking about doing a rewatch of it. And there was like a blurb from Lena Dunham, who's kind of a younger person. I guess she's probably in her 30s now, or late 20s. And before I knew it, I was like, what does she know about that show in that time period? She was in kindergarten. And I was like, okay, you officially sound like an old crazy person. Stop it. I'm like, yeah, it's just like, it's all about your perception. But sometimes it's not about perception. It's just things age because, like you're talking about herniated discs. So I actually was in a really bad car accident when I was 19. And so I herniated 3 discs in my back.
Ooh,
Yeah, and they didn't do anything. Like, they were just like, you're young, we're not going to do surgery. You need to tough this out. And so, like, I spent my 20s and my 30s, well, most of my 20s and my 30s, it was like, oh, you're young, you need to tough this out, you need to learn to deal with it, go to physical therapy, blah, blah, blah. And then one day, I kind of stopped having pain, but I started having all these problems with my legs, and I went and had an MRI, and they're like, well, you don't need surgery because your 3 vertebrae just collapsed together, and the fusion that you would have from a surgeon, you naturally already did that over a 15-year period. So I suggest if he, if they're going to do like a laminectomy or whatever to help him, he just get it done. Because I mean, I've been in chronic pain since I was 19 with my back. I don't even know I'm having pain unless I'm like sitting still, or like I'm doing this right now. When I get up, I'll have trouble standing up and I'll have to stretch. But yeah, I wouldn't wish back pain on my worst enemy. I don't really have any enemies, but I wouldn't wish it on him. Because it's horrible. Especially because that disc that fluid, the gel will go in and out, and so, and you don't know what's going to trigger it. Yeah, that conversation went all over the place.
Oh, I think we kept up with you.
Okay. Alrighty, there we go.
Katie, may I ask, what surface are you working on?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I'm making a bear. There was a funny movie that just came out.
Oh,
It's
no,
like
she's
Yeah.
asking is that black construction paper, or is that a black ProQuill board? What is that?
I think it's, when you say a ProQuill board, what does that mean? Because I'm not.
Okay. Well, can you tell me, is it a smooth board, or does it have a little bit of a tooth to it?
It's
Is-
very
is-
smooth, and it takes water and paint really well.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe it's a poster board, but I've never had I bought these boards on clearance at Ben Franklin for like 75 cents a piece, just because I thought they would be useful for something someday.
Huh.
And yeah, so I've been, and then I discovered they really take Posca marker paint.
Oh,
Poscas are really great, but so like if you put them on a canvas and you were to try to, varnish that canvas, or you were to want to, you didn't want it to blend and you got the ink wet, it bleeds like crazy. So they're
Huh.
not actually really helpful for doing anything artistic. And then I found that if I used them on this board and then I combined them with acrylic markers, I could kind of create this really interesting style with them.
Yeah, they
So
look interesting.
yeah, it's very different. But I really enjoy them. And it's so much fun to use them, be able to use a marker and a paintbrush. Because I originally I'd mostly used alcohol markers when I started doing art. And so it was like, it was kind of a transition for me to switch to paintbrushes. And so that was a whole new technique. But this kind of combines the alcohol marker blending style and acrylic painting.
I also watched another movie on Peacock because I saw it there. It was The Man Who Killed Bigfoot and Also Bigfoot.
I didn't know TikTok has movies.
Oh, this wasn't on TikTok. Oh, this is on Peacock. Like the bird, Peacock. If it's a free channel online
Oh,
that people can watch movies on. There are other free channels, and there's Tubi. What's another free channel? Oh, there's also Canopy through the library.
I like Canopy.
I like Canopy too. I think I'm going to try another color on this. So Katie, the first time I had an out-of-state convention, it was the Alternative Press Expo in California.
Oh,
And I was going to be charged if I took another piece of luggage. So I decided that I would send down the books ahead of time. And I know other people who do this too. And when I also do this for business, is send my materials ahead of time so I don't have to deal with it at the airport. And you just mail it to the hotel and call them up ahead and say, hey, listen, I've got some, I'm going to be scheduled to be there on such and so date. These packages are coming in. Please call when you can put, to confirm that they get there, and I'll have them on call for me when I pick them up. And it's a service that they don't even bat an eye at, because hotels used to do that all the time.
I will contact them, and I have with Marriott, I have that whatever, because I used to travel a lot for work. I have whatever status it is where they give you all kinds of extra perks. So maybe I'll go, even though it's something they probably should do no matter what. I'll be like, Oh, yes. Can you
Oh yeah, definitely call them up.
and see what that, yeah, because that would be really helpful. I think my goal I said it was my goal last year, but I didn't make it. That my goal was to learn how to do more digital printing. I just ran out of time as usual. So I think that's something I'm going to try to figure out too, so that like, say I want to go somewhere and I can just order the prints and have them digitally sent to whatever location or print place that's near me if I'm in a jam. Like, I don't know, like I've seen some prints from FedEx that look good, but then I've seen some that like actually come from the FedEx store that don't look that great.
No, I
And I
would
don't,
suggest using, if you call up Minuteman,
oh, okay.
Minuteman is usually does a much better job of getting stuff done and fulfilled. Especially, they can usually work with a 2 or 3 day lead time. And if you know that it's going to be a week out in advance, you can have almost all your prints ready for you
Okay.
ahead of time.
Then maybe because that's something I want to, because that's one thing Tim and I have talked about too, is eventually, it's really nice. I don't even mind selling the originals, but if I'm selling originals at a low cost to, develop a fan base, but I still want to sell those prints, I have to get better at mastering those prints to be viable copies. Like being able to use Procreate more to manipulate them to make them more like imperfections, or where it won't scan. Sometimes things just will not scan right no matter what you do, or you take a picture of it and you're like, oh, this looks absolutely gorgeous in person. I have no problem selling this original, but no matter what I do, the light, I just can't get the light right. So that's kind of one of the things that it was one of my goals for this coming year.
Yeah, there are some photographers that specialize in art photography. My friend Joe does architectural photography. He's really good at taking pictures of sculptures. He spends way too much time on paintings. I mean, he does a good job on paintings, but I have other friends who do paintings cheaper. But I like using Joe. I mean, you're going to spend a day hanging out with a photographer, you might as well hire one of your friends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ben might retire now. I wonder if he'd even, I'm sure I could convince him to open up his dark room or his studio.
I think this bear is gonna look fun. He may not even look like he's gonna look, well, actually Cocaine Bear was a she, so that was another underdeveloped plot in that movie, was the bear cubs. I felt like there was way more they could have done with those bear cubs.
I think the bear cubs were meant to be a nice, surprise for people.
I felt like it was an underdeveloped plot. At least
yeah,
the kids were likable too.
Yeah, I'm glad that none of the kids bought it.
Yeah, I was worried that little blonde kid was gonna bite it.
That's only because the little blonde kid in the blob bought it.
That's true. But yeah, so I there was a couple times that I was worried about that, but man, the gore factor in that movie, I was like shocked.
It went up a little higher than I thought it would be. But Oh my God, I was laughing so hard when the bear snorted cocaine off that severed shin like it was a mirror at Studio 54. That was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my
Okay, I'm
gosh.
not giving away plot points here. I'm just telling that's funny. I mean, either you're going to watch Cocaine Bear or you're not.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so this is coming together quite nicely, very quickly. Look at me using some of the techniques you taught me. Look at that.
Oh, wow. It is coming together really well.
I'm learning to work smarter, not harder as a painter. It's just taken me a couple years. How many years have we been doing this now? 2, 3? Are we coming up on 3 years?
Well, you've been with us for 3 years.
That's crazy.
Bill, how long have you been part of Epic?
Ooh, 7? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you hopped on pretty early on.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been
Nice.
doing this for a while.
It's so enjoyable. It's like something I look forward to every week. I mean, of course, life gets in the way sometimes, but yeah.
Which is why we've had turnover, so that's okay. Like some of the people that were regulars now have teaching jobs, otherwise they'd be here.
Yeah. But definitely this has become like a highlight of my week for sure.
Well, I'm going to show everybody how far I got with my drawing. First of all, I need to share screen. Come on, hitting the buttons. There we go. So this is my mutant lamb from God Monster of Indian Flats, a very terrible movie that I do not recommend to anybody.
Hmm.
This is like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 1. It's
All right.
about low.
So it's not even so bad. It become good.
Actually, it is. If I think it was featured on MSK 3000, they were making fun of it. But yeah, it is a particularly terrible movie.
Is this one of the cases where the picture does it more justice than than it actually is?
I think I'm actually doing it. It's about on par. Maybe the tongue's not quite that red, but I have to do something with the tongue. So
How about the eyes? Is that the green part? That's the eyes?
yeah, that's the eye. Oh, I need to do a little bit more to the eye, I think.
Oh,
it looks a little...
I just found a photograph of it. This makes the Doctor Who aliens look good.
Yeah, it's like they wrapped somebody up in a carpet and told them to attack people.
One move, or is it just a single mask there?
The mouth does hinge.
Uh-huh.
I can't say that the neck mobility on it is particularly great. I mean, it just kind of, I can't tell if it was them swinging the costume back and forth, or I'm just wondering about the poor guy that was inside that thing lumbering around, because if the costume's huge in comparison to a person.
Yeah, I
No.
mean, unless that's actually winter, they're or fall they're filming in, that looks sweltering.
Yeah, and you would think that it would be big enough for two people, but no, I think it's just one guy in there. So it's not so much that he's creeping up on people as he's struggling to walk over. Yeah. Anyway, folks, believe it or not, it's been an hour. I want to
my
thank you all
gosh.
for joining us as Epic Sketch Time. If you can make it next week, that'd be great. But if you're busy having friends coming over, we completely understand.
Thank you. Yeah, so I will join you back as soon as I can. And thank you. Yeah, I got, I don't know if you can,
Oh,
see, but
yeah,
I
hold-
got 4
let-
birds.
Let me stop sharing here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, those
Ah.
are great bird pictures. Nice job.
But the first one looked like so flat. He looked like a big gecko.
Yeah, I like the cockatiel.
Yeah, how do you put volume with inside the animal? Because I got them too flat.
Yeah, shading.
Yeah, I think shading or doing a little bit of highlights with the, a nice color highlight on the wing. Like it looked like already I could tell that the toucan's body was turning.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll show you next time how you can create sort of like an internal structure with points to
Yeah,
kind of, I think you were already heading that way with it.
okay. I need to
Okay.
work on that some.
Mhm.
Well, it's
Bye,
been
everyone.
nice and
Thank you so
relaxing.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great